Hey everybody, it's Travis again. I wanted to talk to you today about moisture control and what we do in the hives. I'm into thriftiness, so I thought I'd share with you all this blue pad that you're looking at right there. Those fit right in the recess of our migratory lids, and they'll work in a telescopic lid. They'll work in your actually in your inner cover. They'll fit perfectly. Cut the center hole out there so the bees can still feed. We're having still, warm days. They'll take syrup. But so what I do with these, I just staple them in there. You can see some of the staples. When it comes time, they won't take feed. I've just taken this little flap right there, and I've pushed it back under there. I'll pull that staple and cover the hole. And then on the outside, I'll just take a couple of strips of duct tape. Some people use the plastic plugs in there, and I just duct tape it. And then put the brick on top of that and have no issues whatsoever with any moisture getting in there. But the way this works, each of these pads will hold about a pint of fluid, and which they'll never get that saturated inside the hive. But if you go back and look at the spacer pictures that I've referenced those a couple of times, we put a vent hole in the back of those, or which you call it the back or the front, but I use it for an upper entrance in the winter. And I keep it aimed out back because my hives are tilted forward at a pretty extreme angle, and to allow rain and all that while you tilt them. But what this does, the entrance hole, that upper entrance, it allows a lot of that warm air to vent, and what doesn't vent will get caught up in the blue pad here. By the way, we do, so you can see how thick that is, we do sell these. Well, we don't sell them with a donation. For $5 you get 2, and 5 for 10. So you want to donate, you can click on the donate button at the top of our page and just put absorbent pads on there, and we can get some of these shipped out to you based on your donation. So anyway, back to the purpose of these. So what I do, I don't mess with candy boards, I don't mess with quilt boards. I go in, I lay newspaper directly on top of the frames. I put my dry sugar on top of that. Sugar's hydrophilic, so it's going to absorb a lot of the moisture out of the hive. And I'll do that as a supplemental feed before really closing them up for the winter. I'll go back and make sure that they have an abundance of sugar laying right there on top. A lot of times with a candy board, you have a bee space there, and if those bees are clustered just right up at the top of the frame, sometimes they won't move the extra little bit to get to the candy board. So this puts it right down on top of them. They'll chew through the newspaper. You can put a couple of starter holes in there, and so that's how that works. So between the sugar being hydrophilic, the vent hole in the back, or the upper entrance, whichever you want to call it, and then this pad stapled in there, which will hold about a pint of water, and that's it. It's that simple. I don't have moisture issues. I don't worry about it, and the bees stay healthy. And by the way, if you make candy boards, the bees pretty much cluster, or should be clustering in the center. And if you leave your vent hole in the center of your candy board, that's where the bees are clustering. That's where moisture is going to drip back down on them. So when I lay the newspaper on there, I leave around the edges clear, and at the back, so that warm air rises and it's going back. It's got a gap there toward the back of the hive where the newspaper is, and to dump a bunch of sugar in there. And then what I can do at the beginning of February is go in there and start adding some dry pollen sub mixed in with the sugar, and I don't have to worry. They'll take it, and I don't have to worry about making pollen patties. A lot of people they'll tell you that hive beetles love the pollen patties, and that they can cause problems. Grease patties, I think they really, really like, but you just got to kind of do your homework. And again, invest in some common sense. But that's how we do moisture control. And give us a shout out if you'd like to have some of these absorbent pads that we use. And stay thrifty, my friends.